here today just to tell the truth. So hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
We squeeze into the packed courtroom, shoulders brushing velvet ropes, the air thick with cologne, whispers, and the metallic taste of dread. Cameras aren't allowed, so every rustle of paper and every cough feels amplified, echoing against the wood-paneled walls, as if the room itself is desperate to eavesdrop. At the defense table sits Sean Diddy Combs, usually the picture of bulletproof swagger, but right now he's tugging at his cufflinks like they're suddenly strangling him. The judge gives a sharp nod, the lights dim just enough to make our heartbeat trip, and the screen flickers to life. There it is, a grainy corridor, Kim Porter perched on a chair, shoulders drawn tight, eyes darting like she already knows something wicked is coming through that door.
We are not done. This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and—
The gallery gasps before the first blow even lands. We watch Diddy stride into frame, no entourage needed, just combustion in designer leather, his hand swings, Kim flinches, and we swear we feel the impact across 20 feet and 3 layers of courtroom security. The hush breaks into scattered cries, someone mutters, "Oh my goodness," and a reporter drops her pen that clatters far too loud. On screen, Kim presses against the wall, Diddy leans in close, mouth inches from her ear. Even through decades-old CCTV fuzz, we can read the words, "You know I can make you disappear forever." The bailiff snaps to attention because the real-life Diddy has gone pale, eyes flashing. He knows this is the moment the myth shatters like a glass flute on marble.
You know what I'm saying? Just with this Cassie thing, I didn't know her, but I knew somebody like her, and that was Kim Porter. I didn't know Cassie, but I knew somebody who was going through the same thing she was going through, and that was Kim Porter.
We glance over at the jury. They're frozen, knuckles white against the rail, forced to witness a private terror turned public evidence. Kim's fear is unmistakable. The furtive glance toward the unseen camera, the protective curl of her arms, the silent plea. We're not just watching an argument, we're staring at the breeding ground of something far darker. The footage ends, the lights rise, but no one exhales. Diddy rubs a thumb over his wrist. Rumor has it a scar hides there, a souvenir from another violent collision. But today, he can't tuck that reminder beneath diamonds. The silence is torn only by muffled sobs, an eerie soundtrack to the unraveling of an empire. We can practically hear the tremor spreading beyond these walls, scrolling across every phone in the city. If he could threaten Kim on tape, what else lurks in the shadows of their long, complicated history? Officially, she left this world in a haze of pneumonia, but suddenly that diagnosis feels as thin as tissue paper. We remember that Kim was healthy, vibrant, riding late into the night, reportedly compiling a tell-all that promised to peel back the velvet drapes on bad boy royalty. So we ask ourselves, was pneumonia really the culprit? Or did that whispered promise of disappear forever start counting down the clock?
You know, he get the trafficking because he took her to different states and had her perform acts with different, male and different people, sometimes against her will.
The revelation of the assault video detonates like fireworks over old conspiracy theories we'd half filed away. Talk radio, gossip blogs, and seasoned legal analysts are all dusting off the file marked Kim Porter flash drive mystery. Courtney Burgess, a 40-year confidant turned whistleblower, has already sworn under oath that Kim handed him multiple drives packed with footage from those infamous after-dark gatherings at Diddy's estates. He told the grand jury the files show 8 A-list celebrities caught in compromising scenes, 2 or 3 of them clearly not yet of legal age. Burgess didn't mince words outside court either, telling reporters, "I know you all call him Diddy or Puffy. I call him Lucifer." His testimony sends a ripple of nausea through Hollywood, where everyone suddenly wonders if their private missteps are tucked away on a little pink USB. But here's the kicker. Burgess says Kim's drives were swapped. The originals vanished, replaced by sanitized copies missing the most explosive clips. We lean forward in our seats, picturing late-night SUVs with blacked-out windows, a hush-hush tech team rifling through Kim's belongings while she slept, copying, deleting, covering tracks. Who sent them? Who ordered the switch? Our minds race through a Rolodex of powerful names with more to lose than Diddy himself. Attorney Ariel Mitchell hinted the same thing, telling the press, "The tapes tell the story of what Diddy has done over the past 30 years. 30 years. That's generations of secrets, enough leverage to keep an army of allies silent."
Bruh, when y'all look at this thing and saying force, y'all think that he probably threaten to beat her, threaten to do something like that. That ain't what force is. It could come from the mentality. Yo, he put her in a certain position, in a certain situation, and a certain time in her life.
And silence, according to whispers from those close to Kim, was enforced by more than NDAs. We've heard the phrases insider enforcers and shadow crew tossed around like urban legend, a loyal circle hired to anticipate any rogue move Kim might make. They allegedly tracked her calls, deployed covert cameras, even trailed her car under the guise of security. Former bodyguard Gene Deal once claimed Kim slashed Diddy's wrist with a corkscrew in self-defense, leaving him rushing to St. Luke's hospital. Proof, he says, that her life with the mogul was never just glitz and red carpets. We picture Kim in those final months, glancing over her shoulder at every Starbucks run, wondering if the friendly driver was secretly cataloging her conversations, if a smiling stylist was actually relaying intel back to the boss.
Do I think, yeah. Every man possibly is capable. I think he's very capable of doing it. It's in his character. That's who he is. That's what comes with power. That's what comes with arrogance. That's what comes with, what makes him, power. That's just the selfishness to make you be like that.
Every breadcrumb leads us to grimmer scenery. I'll be sure, Kim's one-time partner and father of Quincy, posted cryptic pleas for an investigation, hinting that her passing wasn't as simple as a bout of winter illness. He insists Kim sent crucial files to trusted friends for safekeeping and confided fears that they were closing in. One acquaintance even claims her devices, laptop, external drives, handwritten notes, went missing from her bedroom the day she was discovered unresponsive. What burglar steals diaries instead of diamonds? What intruder ignores couture but snatches digital evidence? The pattern feels less like robbery and more like a scrub down of inconvenient truths. Meanwhile, the tabloids orbiting this circus have ferreted out a curious timeline. Kim's unpublished memoir, briefly listed on a shopping site, under the title, Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice from the Other Side, hit #1 overnight before vanishing in an avalanche of takedown notices. Within 48 hours, Diddy's legal team branded it fabricated. Yet insiders whisper that the real draft is locked in a safe, awaiting daylight if anything happens to the people protecting it. We can't help chewing on the possibility that Kim's words threatened a wider cabal, that the memoir mapped out a web stretching from studio boardrooms to Caribbean yacht parties, exposing everyone who partook in the freak-off soirees now haunting court filings.
Person that really put their hands on women really is men who have feminine traits. So, it really takes a coward to put his hands on a woman. So, a man is so strong enough, we can just walk away. You can do, there's so many different things that you can do other than get upset, put your hands on a woman. But that comes from a man who's not quite a grown man.
Then there's the chilling logistics of those gatherings. Witness statements describe sprawling mansions wired with hidden cameras. Guests allegedly handed color-coded glasses, gold rims for VIs, silver rims for newcomers. Rumor has it the silver glasses were laced with performance enhancers, leaving attendees pliant while cell phones rested in a locked basket outside. The footage, of course, flowed straight to an encrypted server only Diddy's most trusted tech could access. That same tech, sources say, was on Kim watch duty, ensuring any suspicious file transfers were detected in real time. If Kim tried to smuggle backups onto a cloud drive, alarms would ping Diddy's phone before the upload hit 15%. Against this backdrop, we revisit the video played in court. Diddy's whisper, Kim's instinctive recoil, and it morphs from isolated domestic dispute to ominous foreshadowing. We realize Kim was perhaps already maneuvering a chess endgame, trying to survive long enough to see her truths printed. She took photographs of flash drives, scribbled contact names and code, arranged clandestine meetings with journalists under coffee shop aliases. We imagine her seated at a corner table, hoodie up, sliding a thumb drive across to a reporter who never showed, perhaps intercepted by those same enforcers. Did the team monitoring her anticipate every step, or did she manage to slip one pawn 2 squares forward without detection?
So he put his hands on females, put his hands on producers, executives. That's just his. I guess that's what the whole name bad boy comes from. That people don't really understand. What is it? What is a bad boy? Why did he choose that name? He never really gave a clear definition of how he feels about that name.
Courtney Burgess insists at least one original drive still exists, tucked away overseas, immune to subpoenas and break-ins. If that drive surfaces, we're told, the scandal could widen into a tidal wave, sweeping in Grammy winners, blockbuster actors, maybe even the politician rumored to have attended a single wild weekend in Miami. Just thinking about it makes us glance at our phones, half expecting a push notification that another household name is lawyering up. And let's not forget, Diddy's trial date looms in May next year, a spectacle promising more fireworks than a New Year's countdown on Times Square. Prosecutors are salivating over the possibility of introducing those party tapes as corroborating evidence, but only if the chain of custody checks out. That's why the swapped drives matter. If someone tampered, the footage could be tossed, and Diddy's defense will parade that doubt like a shiny shield.
A US judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines to take part in recorded performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
We can't ignore the human fallout either. Kim's twins, now seniors in high school, have reportedly fled their childhood home, hunting for a modest rental just to escape the paparazzi siege. Friends say they still feel their mother's presence, a quiet push urging them not to let her story fade into clickbait fog. Quincy, stoic in public, has been digging through external hard drives, hoping a buried audio file of Kim narrating her memoir may surface, proof that her voice was never truly silenced. It's a family hanging on to fragments while the patriarch sits in a jail cell 1,000 miles away, negotiating bail terms that keep getting shot down by the court. And as we leave the courthouse that first day, flashes exploding like summer lightning, one question follows us down the steps. If Kim Porter's knowledge really did make her a target, how many accomplices did it take to stage the perfect cover-up? We picture boardroom deals made in hushed tones, offshore accounts funding hush-hush operations, private jets delivering hush money measured not in thousands but millions of dollars. We picture the enforcers, silent and well-paid, deleting files, swapping drives, rewriting history with keystrokes. We picture the whisper, "You know I can make you disappear forever," echoing through every corridor Kim walked, reminding her that truth can be lethal when it threatens the wrong empire.
Understand that he has a shrink coming by his cell to see him several times a day. And now there's talk about putting him in, it's like a bubble. It's like a cell that has like a plexiglass wall in it where they have inmates watching you. That's actually their job, to keep an eye on the inmates that are on watch.
We are left teetering on the edge of a precipice, staring into a vortex of missing files, swapped evidence, and a lingering suspicion that pneumonia wasn't the lone culprit that November. And as the courthouse doors slam shut behind us, we can't help but wonder, was Kim Porter's untimely exit the tragic climax of a love gone toxic, or merely the opening shot in a high-stakes operation to keep the most damning secrets safely buried? News of hidden drives may be explosive, but nothing sears into the collective memory like a handwritten confession. That's why we keep circling back to the phantom manuscript Kim reportedly titled Kim's Lost Words. It surfaced for a heartbeat, sitting on an Amazon listing like contraband on a crowded sidewalk. 59 pages, print on demand, no publishing house stamp, and a price that rocketed to 4 figures on resale sites once the takedown order hit. We snagged screenshots before it vanished, and the passages we glimpsed read like a house of mirrors, bruises disguised with couture, coerced late-night parties in cold marble rooms, and a chilling allegation that surveillance cameras were installed above every bed in Diddy's mansions, archiving secrets darker than velvet. Each page felt unfinished, though, punctuated by abrupt line breaks and ellipses, as if entire paragraphs had been ripped out moments before upload.
Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment, as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
We sift through those gaps, wondering what we weren't meant to see. Early readers claim the missing lines referenced A-list film directors, stadium-selling pop stars, even a former cabinet-level politician sharing a toast at a Hamptons after-party while uninvited teens milled nearby. One chapter allegedly mapped a hush payment trail in 6-figure increments. Money flowing through offshore firms, then back into LA real estate under shell company initials. The pages tell the story of what Diddy has done over the past 30 years, his deviant activities. Attorney Ariel Mitchell warned outside the courthouse, clutching what she insisted was a partial copy. The phrase deviant activities bounced around the blogosphere for days. But we're haunted less by what's printed and more by what's gone. Those ragged edges that hint at names erased to protect dynasties.
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
Amazon won't clarify who filed the takedown, citing boilerplate legal exemptions. Insiders whisper a barrage of privacy complaints hit within hours. NDA-backed claims of defamation by implication. Yet tech-savvy sleuths trace the takedown request to a Beverly Hills law firm specializing in crisis management for high-net-worth clients. We picture paralegals pulling an all-nighter, scrubbing cloud caches, leaning on that one contact at Kindle Direct to yank every trace before sunrise. Still, a few lines survived in web archives, hinting she possessed recordings of forced performances, and proof the youngest victim was barely through sophomore year. Proof. That single word rattles us, because if such recordings exist, they're likely identical to the clips Burgess swears are on the swapped drives. Clips the grand jury now treats like a ticking time bomb. The timeline grows spookier when we overlay it with Kim's final week. Friends recall her laptop acting glitchy, emails bouncing back, call logs clearing themselves. She complained of phantom pop-ups for remote access software, classic signs of a system breach. Then comes the strangest footnote. Neighbors spotted a matte black SUV parked near her gate the night before she was found. The driver allegedly matched the profile of Corey Gamble, Kris Jenner's ever-discreet partner. Gamble is no stranger to the role of comm strategist. Industry veterans call him the velvet firefighter, the man you dial when publicity flames threaten a brand empire. Was he checking in on a friend or delivering a final cease and desist? The security camera that would have answered was, conveniently, down for maintenance that night.
I think it's to be expected, just the shock of this and the questions about what is ahead of us. I mean, how long is he going to be in custody? Is this an R. Kelly situation? Is he going to not get out for a number of years? Is he going to end up serving a long-term prison sentence from this? Or does he have a chance of beating these charges at a trial that could come, within the next 2 years?
We retrace the hours that followed, and the pattern that emerges feels less like coincidence and more like a prelude written in invisible ink. On the Monday before everything unraveled, Kim fired off a rare group message to 3 confidants she hadn't contacted together in years, urging them to keep every copy, even the backups of the backups. Minutes later, she uploaded a small, password-locked archive to a Swiss cloud provider most of us have never heard of, a company known for requiring notarized identification just to reset a forgotten username. That sudden burst of digital activity points to a woman racing the clock, determined to scatter her evidence like breadcrumbs far beyond the reach of any single fixer's broom.
It's a question of that, but when you read through the indictment, it's pretty clear who could be indicted as a co-conspirator. Right now, there are people in the indictment who would be considered unnamed co-conspirators, but clearly have played a role in this conspiracy. And I think prosecutors have some big leverage on them because they're hoping that they testify against Diddy as prosecution witnesses.
Tuesday's timestamp drags us deeper. Bank security footage shows Kim stepping into a safety deposit vault at precisely 9:07 a.m., carrying a slim accordion folder sealed with red wax, an antique flourish she'd used once before when mailing legal papers during her custody battle. Sources at the branch recall her asking whether the vault was truly off-grid and requesting a printed chain of custody receipt. She left 10 minutes later, eyes hidden behind oversized frames, skipping the offered latte as though caffeine might jangle already frayed nerves. That afternoon, she drove the long way home, looping through 2 canyons and switching lanes every few miles, a textbook technique for spotting a tail. By Wednesday night, Toluca Lake endured an unexplained rolling blackout that knocked out power to just 6 homes, hers included, while the rest of the street glowed steady. Neighbors spotted an unmarked utility van idling near her driveway, its hazard lights off, an orange cone placed perfunctorily behind the bumper. Records show no municipal work order for that address. Phone logs confirm Kim called the power company 3 times, growing increasingly distressed when they insisted no crews were dispatched. Curiously, cell tower data suggests her Wi-Fi router flickered back online 40 minutes before the grid was officially restored, meaning someone inside might have booted up a generator the public never knew existed.
Right, well, Kim Porter, that is Diddy's ex, who's also the mother of his 3 of his children.
Right.
Has detailed the alleged abuse that she suffered at his hands.
Oh, no.
And this is all in a memoir.
Thursday morning, she canceled her standing Pilates session for the first time in months and instead met a West Hollywood attorney whose practice specializes in whistleblower protections. Witnesses at a nearby cafe recall her hands trembling as she tapped out messages on a brand new prepaid phone, still displaying its factory screen protector. During her patient's periodic brief meeting, she paid cash for an extra handset, then withdrew a modest bundle of euros, a detail that implies she was considering an abrupt cross-border move rather than a weekend getaway. Whatever plan she was sketching, it reeked of urgency, the kind we associate with people plotting escape rather than vacation. That same evening, an enigmatic Instagram story pulsed on her account for less than 5 minutes. A sunset over the valley, the caption "storm before calm, then silence." Friends who tried calling found her main line went straight to voicemail while the twins enjoyed a pre-planned sleepover at a classmate's gated estate. Around 11 p.m., a rideshare driver reported picking up a tall gentleman in all black outside Kim's gate. Trip logs reveal he was dropped just 6 blocks away, where he entered another waiting vehicle and disappeared. Kim's housekeeper later recounted muffled voices and the sound of a suitcase rolling across hardwood, though no suitcase was logged into evidence.
Man, this timeline is crazy, man.
I know. So many things coming at one time.
Friday at dawn, Kim placed 3 rapid-fire calls, one to her accountant about amending a trust fund, one to a New York literary agent flagged in her phone simply as Plan B, and one to a private jet broker requesting a last-minute red-eye to Teterboro. Flight manifest drafts list her plus 3 dependents, yet she never confirmed the booking. Before noon, she visited a local notary to authenticate what she labeled family archive document, then returned home, parking her car at an odd angle as if blocking the driveway from visitors she didn't invite. By the time sunset bled across the San Fernando skyline, messages from those same confidants pinged her phone unanswered. The twins stayed an extra night at their friends', unaware that flashing lights would soon paint their street. First responders recorded her time of discovery at 11:38 p.m., but data pulled from a fitness tracker on her wrist shows the final heartbeat hours earlier, right after a spike of adrenaline strong enough to register as sprinting. In those lonely moments, it appears Kim was fighting not just for survival, but for the future of the secrets she believed could protect her children. The timeline ends there, a jagged cliff where speculation begins, leaving us to wonder how close she came to detonating the truth, and whether that very proximity sealed her fate.
U.S. attorney, what you want you want the best attorneys you can have in there, and it really, I know you want to, like we said, appearances matter, but you want to win this case, and you need, like you said, it's harder for them.
We've heard tales of a hidden Hollywood machine that spins faster than any studio press office, a network of fixers who sanitize scenes before the public ever glimpses a stain. They coordinate non-disclosure payouts, swap phone numbers, even schedule emergency spa days for shaken witnesses. Anything to keep headlines soft. Their reach extends from Calabasas cul-de-sacs to Manhattan penthouses, and when panic calls come in at 3 a.m., they dispatch ex-military consultants with data-wiping kits and a smile. Think of them as invisible hands pulling the strings, protecting not just one mogul but an ecosystem that feeds on prestige. If Kim's memoir truly threatened that ecosystem, did those hands tighten around her storyline until only sanitized fragments remained? Visualize the morning of Kim's final hours. A barista's receipt shows an almond milk latte ordered on her phone at 8:17 a.m. Yet bank records later list an unfamiliar charge for high-grade digital forensic software. Did she hurry against unseen time limits, attempting to secure files before the backup came? Did she call a confidant as sirens approached? Rumors swirl that Corey Gamble was spotted again, this time by a delivery driver who noticed a tall figure in designer sweats slipping through the side gate moments before first responders sealed the property. The driver's statement never made the police report. He claimed someone in a suit and perfect diction advised him to reconsider what he'd seen.
That we are not done and that Combs did not do this alone. Do you foresee that there could be other charges related to this case?
I'm not taking anything off the table.
Follow that thread and it coils back to the broader fixer brigade. Entertainment lawyers hint these operatives operate on sliding scale retainers, 5-figure monthly fees for everyday gossip control, 7 figures for emergencies involving potential felonies. Their tasks range from swapping out a celebrity's phone before the FBI serves a warrant to dispatching private physicians who rewrite suspicious bruises into yoga injuries. When federal agents raided Diddy's LA mansion last March, insiders swear they found a recently torched external server in the screening room fireplace. Logs wiped, shell gone powder white. Someone got there first. Could the same crew have breached Kim's house, yanked her drives, and doctored her memoir files before daylight? We note how neatly the pieces fit a pattern that reaches far beyond one family. Corey Gamble isn't the only name murmured when the phrase cleanup artist floats through Tinseltown circles. Paparazzi veterans whisper about a lithe man in a linen suit who once escorted incriminating security footage straight out of a 5-star hotel's DVR room, or the retired detective who now consults on timeline management for network talk show hosts in Sudden Scandal. Every time headlines threaten to ignite, these professionals appear, then vanish like cigarette smoke, leaving crisis teams to frame the narrative. And every check clears, routed through more shell companies than we can tally, each lawyer bound by layers of NDA deeper than a Beverly Hills Botox needle.
He broke him, let's say allegedly, but it was told by people in her camp that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht. So Cassie's story is Kim's story. Cassie's book is Kim's book.
The stakes climb higher as legal walls start to crack. Diddy's bail requests keep hitting brick hard, denials, his empire hemorrhaging sponsors faster than you can refresh a social feed. In high-rise conference rooms across LA, executives sip quiet peppermint tea and debate whether to hold or dump their shares in Combs Global, terrified the next court filing might name-drop their biggest brand ambassador. Meanwhile, prosecutors comb through the burger wrapper-level details. Who ordered sushi to Kim's gate that Friday? Which Wi-Fi extender pinged her laptop at 11:42 p.m.? Whose fingerprints ride the glossy covers of those missing memoir pages? And what about the children left behind? Kim's twins now dodge camera flashes outside open house viewings, praying a real estate agent won't leak their temporary address. Quincy files quiet motions to inherit digital assets he believes contain the original manuscript, his lawyer arguing the files qualify as literary estate property. If a judge agrees, those pages could surface in discovery, and the resulting blaze might scorch more than one mansion roof. The unspoken fear in corner offices. If Kim's unedited story lands in open court, dozens of career veneers crack in the heat.
She saw no way out other than doing what he told her to do. He had mentally controlled her. It's like a pimp. Diddy had pimp potential. He had her mind messed up where it controlled her.
We can almost feel the tension swelling toward a crescendo, like a bass line rumbling beneath Hollywood Boulevard. The flash drive scandal, the vanished memoir, the fixer sightings, each strand tugging at the same loose thread in a star-spangled tapestry. Pull it hard enough and the whole cloth unravels, exposing the structural beams that hold celebrity culture upright. We picture studio moguls glancing at private inboxes, A-listers deleting late-night DMs, publicists polishing statements that begin with, "I was shocked and saddened." Everyone bracing for the next leak, the next courtroom exhibit, the next gasp in a saga that shows no sign of slowing. All of this brings us to a precipice that feels historic. A devastating video, a suspicious ending, an ever-growing heap of allegations, and the unmistakable hum of an engine designed to bury every truth it cannot spin. So we lean forward, wide-eyed, and we whisper to you through the screen. What else is still buried beneath the marble floors of those mega mansions? Could the missing chapters of Kim Porter's life be the dynamite that finally topples a dynasty built on platinum plaques and velvet threats? Drop your theories below, because the moment that manuscript or one uncut flash drive hits daylight, entire careers could vanish faster than a late-night Amazon listing. Until that fuse catches, stay curious, stay loud, and remember, the higher the tower, the harder the fall. See you in the comments, fam.